Okay, kamusta ulit tayo mga kaibigan, mga kapatid? Welcome back to my channel. Ngayong araw, isa na naman ang pag-uusapan nating topic ay isang kaso na talagang nakakuha rin ng atensyon ng maraming tao, lalo na sa Filipino community dito sa United States, sa US. Isa itong kaso na may kinalaman ulit sa fraud. This time, this is retirement benefits, Social Security, military pension at isang Filipina na umamin sa federal court na nagtago umano ng pagkamatay ng kanyang father-in-law sa loob ng mahigit na 6 na taon. So, 6 years, guys. So, her name is Josephine Guinauli Aquino, and she is 64 years old, and she is a resident of San Diego, California. So, big Filipino community in San Diego. So, ayon sa US Department of Justice o DOJ, umamin siya sa korte na hindi niya ini-report or iniulat ang pagkamatay ng kanyang father-in-law who was a US military veteran. And this is so para maipagpatuloy ang pagpasok ng iba't ibang retirement benefits na it should only be for him as a beneficiary habang siya ay buhay. So, in total, mahigit na $175,000 ang sinasabing natanggap o halos 10 million peso kung i-convert natin sa Philippine currency. Okay, pero bago tayo magpatuloy, I just want to clear things up here. Ang lahat ng pag-uusapan natin ngayon on this case, it's actually based on official press release ng United States Department of Justice. Hindi ito chisme, hindi ito social media rumor, at hindi haka-haka. Mahalaga ito dahil kapag it is a legal case na pinag-uusapan, mas mabuting manatili tayo sa mga dokumentong inilabas ng federal government. So, paano ba nagsimula ang lahat for Josephine? So, ayon sa federal prosecutors, namatay yung father-in-law ni Josephine sometime around August 2019 habang nasa Pilipinas ito. Okay? I'm not sure if he was there on vacation or that he decided to retire in the Philippines, because I've seen that too. Some of them, retire in the Philippines because, of course, it's the retirement money cost a lot more since you have to convert it to Philippine peso, as opposed to, how much you are spending it here, how you are spending it here in dollars here in the United States. Okay? So, isa siyang US military veteran na tumatanggap ng retirement benefits mula sa iba't ibang sources. So, 3 sources actually. So, meron yung military retirement siyang natatanggap mula sa Defense Finance and Accounting Service, or what we call DFAS. Okay, tumatanggap din siya ng Social Security benefits. At bukod pa doon, meron din siyang private pension mula sa Nestle Corporation. And we've seen this one too, like a lot of our retired servicemen. It's either, sometimes they also go to the post office. Very easy for them to get a job in there, so that they are getting that military benefits dahil they serve probably correct me if I'm wrong, 20 years in the military, and then they still get some sort of retirement benefits dahil they work for another agency. Okay, so normal lang talaga yun. Marami talagang retirees na may higit sa isang retirement income. Okay, and this is what we see in this case. Ang mahalagang tandaan ay yung mga benefits na ito ay para lamang sa qualified na tumatanggap. I've seen it that the wife also gets some part of it when the beneficiary dies. Okay? So, kapag namatay yung beneficiary, kailangang maipaalam ito sa different agencies na nagbibigay ng benefits upang tumigil yung buwan ng bayad. And that's actually how the case or the problem on this case started. So, ayon sa plea agreement, and I went through the plea agreement really quickly, alam ni Josephine Aquino na kapag nalaman ng government na namatay ang kanyang father-in-law, agad na hihinto yung retirement benefits. Pero may sitwasyon na naging malaking bahagi ng kasong ito, yung pagkamatay ng kanyang father-in-law sa Pilipinas. So, ang tanong dyan bakit mahalagang bahagi ng kasong ito yung pagkamatay niya sa Pilipinas? Okay? Kasi dito sa US, kapag may namatay, it's so easy to have those death records go through different government agencies. So this is through the state reporting system. Okay, there is a little bit of a lag sometimes, but it wouldn't take 6 years. Okay, probably a week here, a week there, but eventually all the systems get updated, that there is a death record, and so that all those benefits stop. Okay, hindi man ito instant, but it goes through a process and it connects all of those different agencies. Okay, kapag ang isang US citizen or retiree ay namatay sa ibang bansa, on this case in the Philippines, hindi automatic na nalalaman ng gobyerno or agencies dito sa US yung nangyari. Okay, meron pa rin kailangang process na sundin. Kailangang mai-report yung pagkamatay ng beneficiary, maaring sa pamamagitan ng family or ng US Embassy. For example, namatay sa Pilipinas yung beneficiary, yung family member doon, kung let's say kasama niya yung family niya doon, yung asawa niya or yung mga anak niya, those family members will have to go through the US Embassy and report the death in the through the US Embassy. Okay, and then that way all of the rest of the agencies here in the United States gets updated through that reporting system. Okay, so ayon sa guilty plea ni Josephine, alam niya ang sitwasyong ito. Okay, alam niya na there is that lag and there is that delay. At sa halip na maging honest siya at ipaalam or i-report yung pagkamatay ng kanyang father-in-law, inamin talaga niya na itinago niya yung information na ito. And dahil dito, nagpatuloy yung pagpasok ng retirement benefits buwan-buwan. Times 3 sources. Again, yung military benefits niya, yung social security, tapos yung pension niya sa Nestle. Ngayon, gusto kong magbigay ng kaunting background tungkol sa DFAS dahil baka hindi pamilyar ang ilan sa atin dito sa DFAS na ito. And it's because, like I said, I worked government contracts before. So I have a little bit, not a lot of knowledge, but I kind of have to know these things in order for me to write policies and procedures. Okay? So, ang Defense Finance and Accounting Service o DFAS ay isa sa agents ng US Department of Defense, DoD, na this agency takes care of the payroll and retirement payments ng mga members ng military. Okay? So, kapag ang isang veteran ay entitled sa military retirement, dito nanggagaling yung kanyang monthly retirement pay. Okay? Bukod naman dito ay ang Social Security Administration, yung tinatawag nating SSA, na nagbibigay ng retirement benefits sa mga eligible retirees. At sa kasong ito, mayroon pang hiwalay, again, na pension mula sa Nestle Corporation. Okay? Habang walang nakakaalam na patay yung beneficiary, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagpasok ng mga benepisyong ito, monthly. Okay? And ayon sa Department of Justice, it was from August 2019 hanggang October 2025. Kaya kung bilangin natin, mahigit na 6 na taon. Mahigit na 6 years. Okay? Na buwan-buwan na may pumapasok na retirement benefits sa account ng isang taong matagal nang namatay. Okay? Kapag naririnig natin yung ganitong kaso, maaring isipin ng iba na simpleng nakalimutan lang na i-report yung pagkamatay. Okay? At totoo naman, may mga pagkakataon talaga na may na-delay sa pag-report, lalo na kung meron yung mga problems ng funeral arrangements. I remember during the COVID, we did have a family member who actually passed or died. I believe it was November of 2020 or 2020. And he was in the morgue for a very long time. We didn't get to have funeral services until February of the next year, which was so sad. But yung mga sinasabi natin, yung mga problems sa funeral arrangements, yung may mga pending or inaasikasong dokumento, or kapag yung nasa ibang bansa yung pamilya. Pero again, as I was reading the plea agreement, malinaw na hindi ito yung sitwasyon ni Josephine Aquino. Hindi lang kasi ito tungkol sa pag-report ng isang death event. Ayon sa court document, may mga ginawa pang ibang hakbang si Josephine para magpatuloy yung pagkuha niya ng pera, yung pera ng father-in-law niya. Okay? At yun ay iba sa mga i-discuss natin sa video na ito. Doon natin makikita kung bakit sinasabi ng federal prosecutors na hindi lang ito simpleng oversight or administrative oversight, kundi isang fraud na tumagal ng 6 years. Okay? At sa totoo lang, doon din natin mauunawaan kung bakit umabot sa federal criminal charges at hindi lamang sa simpleng pagbalik ng perang natanggap. So, looking at kung paano nagsimula talaga yung kasong ito, unahin natin sa bank account. So, ayon sa DOJ, patuloy na pumapasok sa account ng kanyang father-in-law yung military benefits mula sa DFAS, tapos yung social security benefits, tapos yung pension niya galing sa Nestle. Okay? Yung mga pension niya galing sa Nestle, ipinadala ito sa huling address niya dito sa United States. So, again, sa halip na ipaalam na wala na yung beneficiary, na patay na yung beneficiary, umamin si Aquino na si Josephine, na siya ang nag-endorse sa mga checking yun. So, she endorsed it and she deposited it dun sa bank account ng kanyang father-in-law. Okay? Tapos, pagkatapos niyang may deposit yung pera, ginamit niya yung bank card or ATM or debit card ng kanyang father-in-law upang ma-withdraw yung pondo or yung funds. Okay? Pero ang nakakuha sa pansin ng pansin sa buong kaso ay yung usapin ng mga cheque. Okay? So ayon sa Department of Justice, yung pag-amin niya na ginamit niya yung checkbook ng kanyang father-in-law para makapagsulat ng about 150 forged checks. Hindi lang 5, like we said, hindi lang 10, it's 150. Okay? Kapag sinabi namang forged checks, so very important, ang ibig sabihin nito ay ito yung mga checking pinirmahan or na-endorse na parang ang tunay na account holder yung nag-endorse or gumawa, kahit hindi naman siya yung pumirma. Okay? Tapos, ang isa pa sa naging problema na nadagdag ay yung paglabas ng COVID-19 stimulus payments. Okay? Noong kasagsagan ng pandemic noong 2020, nagpadala yung US government ng what we call economic impact payments upang matulungan yung mga qualified Americans. Okay? Dahil dito, hindi pa rin naiulat, even with this, hindi pa rin na-report ni Josephine na patay na yung kanyang father-in-law. Okay? And she admitted na yung 3 checks, I guess they gave him 3 checks for the stimulus payments. Inamin niya na siya actually yung gumamit dun sa mga stimulus checks. Okay? Kaya again, pagsama-samahin natin lahat-lahat plus yung stimulus checks, I'm not sure how much he got, times 3 on that stimulus check, lahat-lahat, the total is $175,000. Okay? Hindi ito, of course, galing sa isang malaking transaction, like we know, and it came from 3 sources plus the stimulus payments. Tapos yun yung sinasabi ng Department of Justice na bahagi ng financial loss sa kasong ito. Ngayon, there could be a question that somebody will ask, paano ito hindi agad napansin? Okay? And sa totoo lang, hindi natin alam yung eksaktong sagot dahil hindi naman talaga ito ipiniliwanag sa press release. Hindi sinabi ng Department of Justice kung may nag-tip or nag-report kay Josephine or kung may routine audit silang ginawa o di kaya'y may bangko na nakapansin ng kahina-hinalang transaction. Because sometimes they would see it, something happening on that account, and they would report it, and that's how they will start an investigation. Or meron ding pamilya or someone in the neighborhood that kind of know what's going on or notice what was going on, and they probably sent a tip off. Ang malinaw lang is that afterwards, nagsagawa ng investigation yung Department of Defense Office of Inspector General at yung Social Security Administration Office of Inspector General. Tapos, matapos yung kanilang investigasyon, that's when nagsampa yung U.S. Attorney's Office ng federal criminal case laban kay Josephine Aquino. Okay? At sa halip na ituloy yung paglilitis, pinili na lang niyang umamin sa mga nakasaad sa plea agreement. Okay? Isa rin sa mga napagkasunduan sa plea agreement ay yung pagbabayad ng restitution. So, ibig sabihin, nangako si Josephine na ibabalik ang perang natanggap mula sa Defense Finance and Accounting Service, sa Social Security Administration, and also Nestle Corporation. Pero mahalagang tandaan na yung restitution ay tungkol lamang sa pagbayad sa financial loss. Okay? Hindi ito automatikong inaalis yung criminal liability. Kaya kahit pa ibalik niya yung pera, nasa hukom or nasa court pa rin yung desisyon kung ano yung magiging sentensya sa kasong ito. Okay, so noong February 13, 2026, so just this year, humarap si Josephine Aquino sa U.S. District Court for Southern District of California para sa kanyang sentencing sa harap ng U.S. District Judge, I think Janice L. Sammartino. Tapos doon inilabas ng korte yung final na hatol or judgment sa kanyang kaso. Okay? At sa tingin ko, marami sa atin sa mga Filipino community, because they were really keeping an eye on this case, yung nagulat sa naging result. Okay? Kung yung expectation ninyo ay mahabang prison sentence dahil umabot sa mahigit na 6 years yung fraud at halos $175,000 ang financial loss, hindi yun ang nangyari, guys. Sa halip, kinilala ng korte yung tinatawag na time served. So, ibig sabihin, yung panahong na igugol ni Josephine na nasa kustodiya habang dinidinig yung kaso ay itinuring ng bahagi ng kanyang sentensya. Okay? So, after that, hindi na siya pinabalik sa prison. Okay? Sa halip, inutusan siyang sumailalim sa 3 years of supervised release. Okay? Ano ba yung nangyayari sa supervised release? So, maraming tao yung napagkakamlan na ito yung probation. Pero, technically, magkaiba sila. Okay? So, pag sinasabi nating supervised release, nagsisimula pagkatapos ng sentence. So, sa panahong ito, nasa ilalim pa rin siya ng supervision ng federal authorities at kailangan niyang sumunod sa lahat ng conditions na itinakda ng korte. And then, kung may nilabag siyang isang kondisyon, pwede siyang magkaroon ng karagdagang legal consequences. Okay? And then, bukod dyan, inutusan din siyang magbayad ng $100 special assessment. This is actually a standard fee na karaniwang kasama sa federal criminal convictions. So, mapapansin ninyo na wala na ring ipinataw na hiwalay na fine o malaking monetary penalty bukod sa restitution. Okay? Inatasan si Josephine Aquino na magbayad ng a total of $178,811.56 bilang full restitution. Again, part of that is yung $175,000 na nakuha niya galing sa mga retirement times 3 sources for 6 years, yung $175,000. Okay? Ang perang ito ay ibabalik sa lahat ng naapektuhang ahensya at ng gobyerno at yung private company. At ayon sa court order, hindi na ito papatawan ng interest. Pero kailangan niyang simulang magbayad sa loob ng Guess what? 30 years. 30 taon. Okay? I think she was, at the starting of this case, I think she was 64 years old. So 60, 70, 80, 90, 94 years. 94 years old siya. Magbabayad pa rin siya. So it looks like she's gonna have to pay monthly. Okay? I'm sure na marami sa atin yung may parehong tanong, bakit parang ang gaan naman ng sentensya? And valid talagang tanong yun. Pero tandaan natin, hindi natin hawak ang lahat ng records na nasa harap ng judge, okay? Hindi natin alam kung ano yung buong pre-sentence investigation report, ang lahat ng mitigating factors, o ang iba pang impormasyon na maaring itinake into account ng korte bago ibinaba ang sentensya. That's why we always say, importante, wag tayong mag-form ng haka-haka because we don't know. Even if it says in there, for the case of, let's say, Maricel Yuki, even it says there is an indictment, there are these paperworks, we cannot form judgment right based of that information. It has to go through due process. Ang alam natin ay yung naging final judgment na inilabas ng Federal Court noong February 13, 2026. So this one is this year. Okay? At yun dapat ang ating pagbasihan kung ano man yung sasabihin natin sa video na ito. Okay? Ang isa pang mahalagang punto ay wala siyang mahabang prison sentence. Okay? Convicted felon na siya sa ilalim ng federal law. And that is a huge thing. Okay? Ang isang felony conviction ay maaring magkaroon ng pangmatagalang epekto sa trabaho, professional license, financial transactions, immigration matters kung applicable, at iba pang legal rights. Ang okay lang kay Josephine is because she is 64 years old. So I'm thinking she was already probably retired or maybe close to retirement. Okay? So unless she is still thinking of working so that she can pay for yung restitution, but yung pangmatagalang effect sa trabaho or professional license, I think she's past that already. I'm not even sure. I hope she, gets to live a lot longer, but it looks like she will be paying the government until she is on her 90s. So, in total, pagka titingnan natin yung naging hatol, 4 yung pangunahing bahagi nito. So, first, yung time served niya. Okay? Second, yung 3 years of supervised release. Third is yung $100 special assessment. At fourth, yung $178,811.56 in restitution na kailangan niyang bayaran. Okay guys, so before we end today's video, I think this case leaves us with an important question. Okay, at the end of the day, the federal court has already made its decision and Josephine Aquino has been sentenced and ordered to pay yung full restitution. Okay, and her case is now part of public records. So, whether we agree with the sentence or not, yun talaga yung decision ng korte. Okay? Para sa akin, the biggest takeaway isn't just the amount of money involved or even the sentence itself. Okay? I think it's more that it is a reminder na yung fraud, whether it's against the government, whether it's against a private company or another person, it almost always catches up with you eventually. Okay? It may take months, it may take years, but when it does, the consequences can really affect your finances, yung reputation mo, yung family mo, tapos of course, the future. Okay? So I also hope that as we continue covering cases like this on this channel, we are not just watching them for the drama or the headlines or yun nga dahil nga viral, right? I hope that we are actually learning something from them. Okay? If these real life stories can help even one person avoid making the same mistake, then I think they are worth talking about. Okay? So, para sa inyo guys, what do you think about the final judgment? Do you think it was fair? Okay? Considering yung fraud lasted for more than 6 years, a total loss of $175,000, Do you think na yung time served, tapos yung 3 years of supervised release, yung total of 178,000 plus full restitution, do you think that those are all appropriate sentence? Or do you think that the court should have imposed a longer prison sentence? Guys, walang right or wrong answer here, but I'd love to hear different perspectives. Just remember, again, to keep the discussions respectful and focus on the facts of the case. And if you enjoyed today's discussion, please go ahead and click like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.